it's a very gray area for legislation. So Congress in 2008 came together and rallied and decided that maybe they, instead of taking the cyberbullying out of cyberbullying, why don't we just cut it off at the knees? Why don't we make the internet service providers and these portal providers, MySpace authority and Facebook authority, be responsible for things like this? We hold them responsible, because we need to hold someone responsible, even though these cyberbullying attacks don't necessarily directly injure or hurt a person. They definitely indirectly cause some major damage and sometimes even cause in death, which is humiliating for anybody and detrimental to families all over the nation. So in 2008 in California, an indirect cyberbullying law was passed, and it gave administrative authority to schools to be able to punish students that are involved in any type of bullying, whether it be cyberbullying or real bullying, face-to-face action. They have the authority now to bring in legislation and to say, you know what, you did this and you did that, and that was not what you should have done. You took this to the internet, you will be suspended, or we're going to take your degree away from you. They're actually holding children accountable now for their actions, which in the past they haven't done. And even though this isn't a direct law dealing with cyberbullying, it's definitely a first step in the right direction. StopCyberbullying.org and organizations like Wired Kids are rallying all over the nation to try to uphold this cyberbullying legislation and to really go out there and try and get some type of legislation that will hold these kids accountable. What that little boy in Virginia, his family is devastated. They no longer have a son, and no one's going to jail. No one's getting consequences. He was an indirect victim of one child's horrific act, and no one will see justice for that. No one, because there is no law saying that what that one child did was wrong. So outside of our nation, countries are seeing this just as big of an effect, and they're trying to do the same. So all these organizations are gathering together and hoping that they can find some type of legal ground to really come in and command the field and say, we will not let these kids do this. We will not let them use these technologies that are such a force and such a phenomenon in an everyday teen's world to be used against them in a harmful or demeaning or humiliating or embarrassing manner. So I kind of give this speech in order to not only inform you of but to tell you that this isn't right. People need to stand up. People need to come to these organizations like StopCyberbullying.org and Wired Kids and the National Center Movement for Bullying, and really prove to Congress and the government that we need to do something about this. Children are dying. Innocent children are dying, and innocent children are getting their lives hurt, and we're using these portals that are supposed to help connect us to one another to hurt each other. And so I really think that if everybody bands in, and gives them support, maybe funding or anything that they can give them in order to create an uprising, so that we can show the government that, the people do care. The people want you to do something about this. We want you to be, the master of this legislation that should come about. There's actually a law in Congress right now that they're fighting for. They're trying to get, and it makes ISPs and internet service providers and these medium authorities to be held accountable. If there's a video that goes up on YouTube and it's demeaning to somebody, and YouTube doesn't take it down and or give consequences to that uploaded it, then YouTube will be held responsible for all of the obstruction and the court cost and any type of damages, whether they be physical, emotional, or anything that is, incurred during that action, to be responsible for it. So if everyone goes out there and fights for this legislation, I really think that the government will turn around and be like, this is something worth talking about. And that kind of concludes my speech. And I have some questions here from some friends that have already heard the speech, and so I'll go ahead and answer a few of them. The first one is, do you think legislation among cyberbullying will eventually come to the forefront? I don't think it will eventually come to the forefront because it's already there. Laws are being passed left and right about bullying, and slowly but surely they're including and kind of sliding in cyberbullying just to be just as unlawful, and they're really trying to hold people accountable, but there isn't a law out just yet that is purely for cyberbullying, but it's there, it's on the table, it's waiting to be talked about. So I definitely think that it's in the midst of right now.